Okay? So I'm working on that right now. So that is what I'd like to get for you. You know what this is? Does everyone have a copy of the book yet? Okay. So let me bring that up and let's kind of go over the book together, okay? How's it going, Monday night? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yoga is a big one. So you got all the, you know, programs.
So what you do is you do asanas.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do tonight is we're just going to model that up.
No,
See, we have
page first.
We'll model it up tonight, and then I've been calling and I'm getting all the standards. And so I want the students to have to start looking up the standards for the entire block and everything else. I know what they are for dimensioning. I mean, line weights, specific line weights, you know. I just use the one I've always used forever and ever and ever and ever for other companies and everything else, but I want to make sure that, you know where to look them up and find the actual standards. And so we'll just model it up tonight. So it might not be an overly long class tonight. You can get the part modeled up and go from there.
Or you can have them cut it off the block.
No, we're just going to model it up with the part. Okay. And then I need to look, and I'm going to order all these books. The nice thing is they're all electronic copies, so we don't have to wait for them to be delivered. We can just download them, and you can open them up, and it probably has a search, so you don't have to use an index or anything else. You can go from there. So, okay. Okay. By the way, are any of you in the STEM 1010 class, the math class? Okay, just curious. Okay, here. Okay, so we're going to do a new, and this thing was right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so does everyone want to start from scratch on this so we kind of work together on it? Yeah. Okay, so as we do this, I want to do an auxiliary drawing. We did a little section drawing with the revolve command. Did we just try to revolve, or did we do an actual drawing with it?
I think we just experimented.
Okay, I'd like to do an actual drawing with the revolve command after we do this today, so that you get going. Okay, now, the one thing I want everyone to remember is this. If you want to, and I'm going to try something new starting next week, okay? And I think this will help everyone greatly. I do a drawing. I found out that in PowerPoint, you can actually record everything you do. And then I'll post that PowerPoint on Canvas for you. Okay, so that if you go home and need any extra help, you can just look at that, and I'll start and stop. You know, I don't want you to have to look at something for 2 hours when it only takes about 20 minutes to draw the drawing. Does that make sense? And so, those of you who are in the last class, you know, doing the assembly that we did even here, you know, we can record that whole thing.
Like Windows 10 also has a screen recorder program.
Does it? Alan said that the PowerPoint is better for the interface going to Canvas.
Okay.
He used that. That's what he was talking.
I just never heard of it. I never used it. But
I haven't either. He said he was going to show me how to go about and do it. He said the only thing you might need is a better mic. Is all. And so if that's all I need, I can get a better mic.
I had a problem finding a mic that works with the computers. I've tried to several.
Okay. But anyway, I can get that from Jameson. He can give me a mic.
But you know what worked? A Bluetooth headset.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that worked well.
And so That way, if any one of you happen to be sick, if it's rotten weather outside, or you have to pick up your kids from school, or anything, if you let me know, at least you'll have access to it and go from there.
It's just good to have some
And it's good reference to go back to. I just don't want everyone just to bad class it like, does that make sense? Please come, don't make me feel too lonely here. And so, but I think it'll kind of help us out. And the nice thing is,
stay home.
well, I don't mind coming down here. If I
No,
say,
let's not-
well, we
never know.
Let's not turn this into online class. In
Right,
person is better.
I want to make it available, so and making it available with all the lectures that we do, we could probably move a little faster and get more information built in to you. Does that make sense too? As long as we can do that. So, okay, so let's go ahead and it's the bookend. So let's create our chunk of metal first, our block. So let's start 2D sketch right here. I'm going to start with the front view right here. Okay? Okay. So now, let's start with a rectangle here. We could do this a couple of different ways. In fact, I'm going to do this one slightly different. Hope it works. I don't know if it'll work. I've never done it this way, so we're going to try it a little different. How's that? Good enough?
You're the boss.
Okay, let's draw our rectangle this way around our origin. How's that?
Okay.
So we're just going to try a different way. I just want you to see how things react, because as you do different types of drawing, you might see one that this might apply to a little bit better. And I'm doing this to hopefully introduce a new command later on as we start doing those two little brackets there. Okay, now question for you. If you go ahead now and do this, a lot of times what I'll do, first of all, is I stick a dimension right there and just accept it.
Just whatever it is?
Just whatever it is.
Okay.
The reason why is a lot of times if you don't do that and go from the center to the end, it might shove that whole rectangle off out of all the coordinates into one coordinate. Does that make sense?
So basically later you'll revisit that.
We'll revisit this dimension in just a few minutes.
Right.
Yes. Does that make sense why I'm doing that? So a lot of times when you start modeling something and it might hurt you do a nice little sketch of it, the part, you add one dimension, it inverts the whole drawing. So just have a placeholder and then add some other and go back and edit it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you have to do. Okay? Okay, so now this is 5 inches, right? So now what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go from the center here out to here and just make this here 5 divided by 2. Yeah, it's a tough measurement to get, isn't it? Okay, now this one is constrained, so I can actually physically delete that one right there and then add me another dimension here of 5. Does that make sense? So I added me a place value in there to kind of keep it from moving all over the place, and then added that in 5. Now, this probably would have worked just fine, but I'm just trying to show you some things that might help you in the
Mike, you
near
want to see
future.
something interesting? It's refusing. Oh, no, we deleted it.
Yeah.
Okay, mine looks different.
Okay. Okay, so now, this is that. Good, now, let's go ahead and add a dimension now here, on here, and make that 5.
Oh,
Okay, so, there, now,
okay.
now, could we escape for me? Now, let's delete this, oh, I'm sorry. This is 5 divided by 2.
Oh, okay, I thought that.
That's
Okay.
5 inches divided by 2. There you go. And then now, 5 divided by 2. Okay, so we better undo this here. if you can get your computer here, you want to put that and there. It's here. Okay?
Okay,
Does
that's
that make
right.
sense?
That's why it looks different.
Yeah. So I'm going to delete this one. So we have our dimension from that point there and here. And then 5 divided by 2. Yeah. And then we're going to escape there, and we're going to delete that, and we're going to add a dimension here now to make that 5. Does that make sense?
So you have two different each side,
Yes.
or you have the full
We're
length.
centering, we're centering it right now.
So you have
Yes. Okay. And then we're going to add a dimension from here to here, to keep it, and then from here to here, it's going to be the height divided by 2. And then we're going to delete that. Okay. Okay. Now the height of this is 3, right? So all we're going to do here now is we're going to add a dimension from our center point here up to the height here. And again, it's just a place value. And then now from here down to here now, it's going to be 3 divided by 2. Now, if you just want to type in 1.5, you can, 2.5. I just want you to get used to the calculator. That's all I want to do. Okay? Now, I'm just going to delete this here now, and then let's dimension this whole side here as 3. See, I'm completely symmetrical around my origin. Oh, I see. You get what I'm trying to do here now? Yes. Okay. So, I want to kind of show you another way of accesses that are built into the automatically built in with our origin with those plates that we started. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and finish our sketch. Does everyone have this okay? Anyone not have it?
the delete. So okay, I get confused when you said sorry. I'll wait or I'll.
So,
Oh.
you can delete this one here. Oh, delete him, and add a dimension now, and you can go from here to there.
Because Mike decided to do it, well, because it's only the half.
And then we'll do the same thing going up and down.
Side, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense?
So,
Yeah. You can
we
do it
also
up and
show
down.
that,
So,
we have option here. Well, it's like we're using two pieces of information. We're saying the whole thing is 3.
So, but why
And
did
this
you
part
do it like
of
that?
the origin
Together?
is
Half.
half of it. So by calculation, this is a half as well. But it's just that we approach it by saying, this is 3, this is half of that.
3.
It's just,
Yeah, 3.
there's numerous ways to do things, and this is just one way to do it, one way to think about things.
Yeah.
Why they even put it there?
But yeah, the asanas that you do is one of the aspects of.
I was just showing you a lot of times you do sketch, you know, all of the study over the person likes the way you're sketch.
Yoga.
Okay, so now,
Other ones. You've heard of Kundalini, right? You never heard of Kundalini? Okay, that's how you reach enlightenment. But you need a teacher. You raise the energies, the chakras,
Yeah.
to the top chakra, and once you reach the top chakra, that's it. You get nirvana. You get nirvana. And which I say that once you reach nirvana, you die. Because you connect to the source, you experience such happiness and joy and everything that you don't need food, you don't need anything. You're done. Right?
Okay, so let's finish our sketch. Now, you realize that, you know, when you do this, remember you still had blue lines up here until you had it constrained to the origin. So it could still be moved around, right? The box would just be moved around, but now we've locked it down to the origin. And everything turned black and constrained on you. And I think that a lot of times, you know, when you do a feature, that all of a sudden you randomly add dimensions in, don't you? To try to get it to turn black, right? This is the reason that you have to do that. Because your overall box isn't totally constrained to something. It's floating in space. Does that make sense now? And I think if you'll do that, you'll have a lot better success. Okay, so let's finish our sketch right here. Okay, now we're going to do something even a little different. We're going to extend it both ways now on this one. So it's equally symmetrical around my center point, my origin. Okay, so again, I'm just slapping in a whole bunch of different ways that maybe you wouldn't do it, but I want you to see how it works. Okay? So, and for those of you who have already drawn it, I'm sorry, but just don't be afraid to, you know, try something. We're just trying something new here, see if it works. Okay, so let's go to our extrude. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the third one, symmetry. Okay? And then what we're going to do now is, what's the depth of this? 2.12, right? Okay, you see how it's kind of built symmetrical about me right there? And then hit OK.
So you need to divide it by 2?
No, because hitting symmetric, it divides it by 2 going both ways.
It does
Automatically. If you hit symmetrical. Now, if you hit the fourth one, it's asymmetrical. And so you can have maybe like 1/4 and 3/4 out here. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. And then hit OK. So we have our chunk of metal right there. Okay? It's a little different way. I just want to give you, because every part might be just a little bit different as you start actually physically designing it. Now,
Like the location of the origin in the part that we designed, that probably affects when you do an assembly.
you bet it does.
And you insert the part will place itself in such a way that's good. You know, that's what the origin affects.
There's definite advantages of it, you know, that you can tweak and use down the road. Now, some simple assemblies, you know, probably not too bad, you know, but when you get into some complex assembly, so like, you know, one of the opportunities I had was, you know, me and a couple other guys, you know, we modeled up an F-16 on the computer.
Wow.
And, you know, so here you have you have to think about where all these points come into play and where's the common reference point and everything else. And so you get into some big projects like that, you know, then you really start thinking about how to do it. But what I want to show you this right now is this. With this right here now, our cube, if you'll come over here to the browser. Now, did I show you how to get the browser back if you lose it?
Yep.
Okay, so we're good. If anyone accidentally loses it, we can get it back, right? Expand the origin. Come down here. Where is my X, my YZ plane? It's right in the very middle right there, isn't it? My YX. You see how those planes are dead center in my part? Yeah. Now, something else it does for me is this. Let's look at our x-axis. Those are right in center point. Where's the center point? Right here. Where do you think my center point is going to be? Right in the very center of this block. Not on the face or not on the back. It's dead center, right? Okay. So now let's go ahead and let's start tweaking this a little bit. The first thing we do, and we're going to add these little ears back here. I want to show you how. So we're just going to cut that all the way through. So we want to start a sketch now on this face right here, correct? And then we're going to do a rectangle right like here. See that center point right there? See, that's the defined center point that we build our part around, so we know the dead center part of that whole part. We do that. So as I put this down, the only thing you do not want to do, if I moved it here and snapped there, it would be constrained to there. Okay? So you want to stay away from letting it snap to any reference points in the back, because it'll pick all the lines and angles and everything back in through the part that you're drawing. So just make sure you come down here some distance there, and then we want to dimension how wide is this here? 1/2 inch. So from this surface here to this surface here is 0.5. And then from the bottom up is 1/2 inch also. Okay? Now, I strongly recommend, if you want to, well, I strongly recommend that since we have a long weekend, we have a week after this day before you come back to school, where Monday's a holiday. Okay? Feel free to download the software at home. Remember, it's free to you. Inventor's free. AutoCAD's free. Okay? You can use All Access. By the way, has anyone used All Access here before? Is it working better?
It's okay. I'm using it off of Android, so my experience might be a little different than using it off of a PC.
Try using it at home. It's supposed to have, you're supposed to be able to see this desktop and access any of this software at home.
But that's what I use, Mike, and I'm managing.
Okay. You got a brand new server. That's why I say it should be a lot faster.
The only thing that I don't like about All Access is it's a little roundabout way of getting your files to your local machine.
It is. It is awkward that way.
And as I described before, if you use the program itself, it maps the drive, but if you go through the browser, then it doesn't.
Okay. Okay. You okay? Okay. So from here now, let's finish your sketch right here. Let's go to extrude, and we're going to cut now right here. So hit cut, and then distance. You want to hit
all the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one.
Through all. That's what I wanted. Yeah. Through all right there. Okay. So again, by working with the center, it acts a little bit different where it goes one way versus the other way through all. Okay? Okay, now, these chamfers, let's put these two chamfers on here, and then these two chamfers here, and then we'll do one, and then what I want to do is to do one and then mirror it to the other side, so you only have to draw one and then mirror it. Okay? That makes sense? What we're trying to do? And the only reason we get it in the center to mirror it is I wanted to use the default plane to mirror it about that plane. That's why we did it this way. Okay? So, okay, so now, what is the size of my chamfer on this? 1.12, right? So, now, I know, so we know it's a 45, but we're going to go with two distances, right? And then since they're the same, just type in 1.12. And then it's asking me for an edge. So it's this edge right there, and that edge right there, and you've got your chamfer up there. As long as they're equal, you just have to do the distance. You don't have to worry about hitting a face. It's asking for an edge to do that chamfer there.
And it did both?
Yeah, because they're both the same.
Okay, but there's something else that I missed. I only see one.
Right, and then now,
Oh, where?
Okay,
Okay.
so now, yeah, so hit okay.
Oh, and then,
You got it.
oh, but your other one.
So go back to chamfer.
Okay, that's where. Oh, okay.
It's that line right there.
Yeah. Oh, I thought they went
No,
multiple. I was like, okay,
No.
got it. Got it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
okay, so.
I thought you did a little tip there that did both at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, you bet. Okay.
This program seems
Oh.
so consistent. I don't know.
Okay.
People can apply it a little bit.
Okay, now the other one now, is two distances, right? What's my second distance on that one? I think we talked about this a little bit on Monday, didn't we? So let's go back to chamfer. Now, two different distances. Right? So I'm going to go with two distances right here. Distance 1. Now this depends on which face you pick now, right? The face you pick is going to be depending upon the first one you enter in for the distance. So we do it opposite of what we did on Monday. Okay, we'll do it that way. So my distance 1 is going to be what distance? 2.12
minus.
Yes, I was hoping you'd say that. What? 1.37, right? Yeah. And distance 2 then is going to be 2.5, right? Okay, now, this is actually, okay.
Yeah, I had a problem with that one too.
I got to click on the switch around.
Right. We can switch it that way.
What did you do?
Hit the switch button right here.
Switch button. Oh. Ouch.
My switch is gray.
You first select the edge,
And then switch it back.
and then
Okay, got
the
it.
switch turns on. Yeah.
Okay?
Then, thing. This.
Okay, so let's do a chamfer on the other side too, okay? Okay, now we got to add that little web in. Okay? Now, a couple of things we want to do. First of all, that is flush with this first edge right here. It's actually flush. Okay? So if I go ahead and start a 2D sketch on this surface here, I'm going to do it, and then I want to go up with it. Okay? So right to there. And since I don't like that orientation, I'm going to flip it around and hit it right there. That makes sense how I just manipulate it around so it's what I wanted it to see. Okay. Now I want to have access to this line and this line right here in my sketch, because if I drew me a line right here, let's say I drew me a line right here. Okay, and then I dimension that line from here to here now, and that should be 0.5, right? So I have to trim this off right at that given point right there. Does that make sense? And this one needs to be trimmed off at this given point right here, correct?
Yeah, I just dimension the point to the edge. That was a lot.
How much do you know it is though?
I just did 0. Like the point, because it comes right
Okay,
to the edge.
and I'm just going to do a little adjustment there. It's an alternative. Okay. So right now, if I go to trim
And if I hit that, it's gonna trim the whole line, isn't it? Okay, so let's hit undo here now. We have this back here. You see where it says project geometry? Any geometry, any line you have on any view, no matter how deep it is in the embedded, we can project geometry back onto our current sketch plane to dimension from it. Does that make sense? So let's go ahead and hit project geometry and project geometry again. I want to project that line right there. And let's project this line right here. Okay? Now, you see my sketch plane? I have those lines on there now, right? So now, if I go to trim now, there's my line, the exact length of it right there. Are you with me what I just did?
Mhm.
I just projected those two other lines up to onto my plane so I could use them to trim to get the length of that line. Okay? Now, what we could actually do now is we could draw us a, let's just draw us a rectangle now. I could go, because I have that exact point right there, don't I? And I could go to here now, and then I could add me a dimension now from that point right there to here. And what should this measurement here be?
0.
0. Because I want to bring it right up to that edge, right there, don't I? And then I can actually add this, which is 0.5, right? There's my rectangle to extrude up. Okay?
I'm still stuck in project geometry.
Okay, now you have the trim. Okay, so there's trim. So we got to trim this line here. Now did you project?
So,
Got to project this line and that line. Project geometry. Project geometry. Okay, that line and that line. Now we have those on our plane. We can use them. Now if I go to trim, look. That's what I'm saying. That's how you use project geometry. Yes, it'll make it so that
Yeah, okay.
you know, that. Okay. So that's why we're doing it a little different than we normally would. You know, I just want to show you a little different way on how to get access to all those different points back there. Okay, now, so let's finish sketch right here. Now, if we wanted to, we could figure out another way we could do that. We would do it this other way. There's another way, maybe even a simpler way, but we're gonna finish this way. And as we do it, you might think about how we could do it a whole other way. Because I could get the true length right now, couldn't I? Once I had that line, I could get that length, and then I could draw me a rectangle with those measurements on it, right? Because I can figure the height right there and just extrude it back, and I'd have it. Okay? So let's extrude this here now. We want to extrude this up here. And how far do I want to extrude it up here now? Now be careful now. Tell me what it is. 3 what? Minus 1.12 minus 0.5. Does that make sense? Just type them all in. Okay? Now, I can put a chamfer on this, couldn't I? Because I can figure this length and this length here, right? So all we'd have to do now is come in here and we could go to Tools and measure. I just need to measure that line right there. What's the length of that line? 1.020, right? So what's the length of this line here now? 1.380, right? There's my chamfer distances right there to build a chamfer on that, isn't it? Okay. Did you hit measure?
What kind of,
Yep. So right there.
Yeah, you got it.
No, nothing. I'm just trying to show you a little different way of doing it. Okay? Yes, you can do it any way you want. I just want to show this is a totally different way. Okay? Oh, okay. I'll switch with mine.
You only walk on the bottom.
That's right. Okay, so now, what we can do now is go back to 3D model right here. We have to go back into here in order to get access to our chamfer command. And then we have two distances here now, right? Now, I probably could have drawn a line here and picked that angle and dealt with an angle if I want, angle and the distance. I could have done that originally, couldn't I? If I wanted to. If I would have just drawn me a line from this point here over, I could have done it if I wanted to. So our two distances now are going to be, I try to always get in the habit of putting the longest distance up front to 1.38. And then the other distance is 1.02, right? Mm-hmm. And then all we have to do is click there. And guess what? There you go. Does that make sense?
No.
Did that work for you?
No.
You picked the wrong line. Pick that in right there.
where you at?
Yeah.
I got my 1.38.
Yeah.
And
There you go. So you picked the long edge, so you were doing the chamfer this way. Okay?
Yeah.
That makes sense? Okay, now, look,
Let's go back to the edge.
there you go. You got it. That makes sense?
It's the edge. And then, put that.
Okay, now. Okay, so I'm going to click that. Mirror plane. Okay. I should have done that.
I think I have the distance just the other way.
Okay. Let's mirror that around. Even if we have to re-chamfer it, we can. But let's mirror. So we got one here. Hit the mirror command. Mirror solid. I'm going to mirror that one right there. Now.
That's what I had to do.
Okay, it's picking that. Let's try that. Maybe that was good for us. And then the mirror plane now is going to be that plane right there. There we go. How's that? Okay. After I clicked your box originally, click there, now click there. And now pick the mirror line. Mirror plane, I'm sorry, mirror plane. And then mark the mirror plane over. That one, what was that one right there? There you go. Yeah. It's this arrow. Did everybody get that, the mirror around there okay? Oh, you don't have to go. Did you guys get it okay? You didn't get that. Now, okay, now, it's, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's delete that.
Delete here.
Now we have this.
Now also click that face right there.
We don't have this picture.
Now get your mirror plane. Now pick your mirror plane. There. Now hit OK.
Oh, reason why they didn't have that here.
Right, exactly. It should have done it without it, but you just find out what's going on and how to fix it. That's right. Okay?
Yeah.
Did you guys just get your, okay. Did that work okay for you? Okay, so it's a little twist on how we did this now. But does it make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, it's not picking the line, it's picking a face. Is that what I want to say?
So let's go to channel.
This is how I learn, I can find my
Okay.
face.
Okay.
The opposite.
Okay. So we can try this here. And then click. Okay, so let's do that now. Let's go here and put the darkest one first.
That's what we started out with, and it was doing the same thing.
But for some reason, it's not picking the,
Okay.
is there a certain mode?
Well, it's like this arrow is pointing that way.
It's picking a face. Or to me, it's not picking the, but it's picking the line. I know. So we deleted
No,
rectangle and then we
we're
tried
fine.
it
We
again.
recreated it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. What is this check mark? Those are good, yeah.
If all those cells were shut it off, it's not good for me. Okay. Oh, emotions.
That's why we tried to delete it as other to see if maybe something there and then put it.
It's what the one.
Oh,
Oh, it's not perfect, it's not this.
Right. Right. That's exactly right.
So, you know, when we
Okay, okay.
So
Type
what
in the
we
number.
got to do now. Okay. So I'm going to put that here.
No, just like delete the extrusion and go to the
I just want to
to the sketch.
This one right here. Leave it here.
Yeah, delete
There.
delete that one.
There.
Yeah.
So 0.5.
Aha.
See right there. You need to come here.
Oh,
0.
oh,
So you gave me 1 inch from here to here. So we're going to get rid of this one here now. And then we're going to plant a dimension now from that point to this point here. I need that.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here now. And then you come here, so we'll write it down. Yeah. Now try to check to see if there's so let's match up on one thing.
Yeah.
Let's measure this line here. Yep, we're right. And then if we check this line here, here.
Yes.
So now,
Okay.
now try it.
Oh, there,
Now try it.
okay.
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 We should write to developers and say, provide a helpful, and now put this.
There you go. that was no problem, you see, it couldn't do what you were telling.
Right. So yeah, gotta write to developers and say, provide a good prompt, provide a helpful prompt.
Okay,
It's
okay.
something, there's always something.
And that's, I've always done that.
Okay.
Yeah, figure out.
Okay, so again, this was just a little twist on things, a little different what we would do it. There might be an application where you need to do it that way, but I wanted to show you that so you could use your planes and how your planes point up, your points right in the center of your part, so you can dimension from that if you want to and go from there. Okay? So, okay. Okay, I got this one. Okay.
Well, here's how I did it. So I actually this time I did it because I just hurried up and did it. So I did a feature, and then say,
These are the same, just go for
right, these guys.
So it's just gonna actually burn edge.
Like,
It's
okay.
a little different.
It's not that
It's gonna
plane,
change
it's not
the
that
command
plane,
because they're both the
it's
same.
this plane.
That's why you only had one distance.
And you click OK. Mine actually, I think, yeah.
Oh, well, we didn't have to swap out the temporal. As it's big difference, we did it into a face.
I didn't.
This one.
No, I think I have to do this one again. You will.
Yeah, and we'll get you going on that face there. Okay, so what I want to do now is,
What is this called? Bookend?
okay, let's see here. That's too easy. Okay, I want to, we're going to do what's called a stuffing box. I think you guys may have already drawn a stuffing box before. So maybe you did that in AutoCAD. Okay, so we're going to do now a revolve. Right there. Okay. So now, by the way, can everybody see where you're sitting? You probably have the worst computer to see. It might be better if you move maybe over right there, somewhere, you know, maybe a little over here, so you aren't looking at that big angle. It might help you a little. Okay. So, and there's one over here if someone wants to use that computer, you know, so you can just, if it helps to see better. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do that stuffing box. Okay. And the thing I like about this is we're going to edit the holes on that. We're going to make them counterbore holes. And we have a drill. Yeah, this is good. This teaches a lot of things.
And Mike, of course, you remember that it's metric, right?
Okay, it's metric. Thank you. So file, new, metric, standard IPT, right there. Okay? Okay. Do now is to start a 2D sketch right there. I'm going to do this on the right side view, right there. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and we'll just do it with the line command here. And we're going to come up a certain distance. Now, question for everybody. Right now, if I look at that, what's the diameter of that?
The outer,
overall diameter.
the most outer one, 114.
Is that 114? Okay, so maybe to help you just a little bit so you don't, your sketch isn't so small, I want to draw it maybe 50s. Does that make sense? Because it's going to get there kind of the right shape and size. Does that make sense to everybody? Instead of having something maybe be 5, and then we had 50, 50 or 60, and it goes shooting clear out there. Does that make sense to everybody? So kind of get it maybe kind of close. And I think it'll make it so you sketch when you start to mention your sketch. It might make it a lot easier for you. So I just want to go up so I see this maybe up about 50. So maybe somewhere in there. Does that make sense? And then I'm going to come over here a little ways. I'm going to come down here a little ways here. Come over, come down, come over, come back up, and come over. I'm going to come down to see where I'm lined up to that bottom of that line, and come to the green dot and enter. Okay? Do you see how I did that?
Yeah.
So, right there, and over about there, just anywhere there.
It's like an AutoDesk.
That's okay. Now come down. Roll out.
Parallel to everything or something like that. And
There you go.
Is it not
And
doing it?
go up. Look, you try now. You want, yeah. Right there.
It's
Down one little, there you go. Put that, it's over
More
there.
sensitive than AutoDesk.
See how you can tell what's lined up, these little dotted lines?
And
And so now we know we don't have one line that isn't parallel,
90
right?
degrees.
Because that line right there, right? So we can make that parallel by just doing this here.
which is
See the
oh,
parallel,
snap,
see
right?
the parallel command right there?
What I was thinking kind of.
In AutoCAD.
Yeah,
So
it was
if we want this.
Well, the F8 is ortho.
Cool. Okay? Okay. So the first thing I want to do is what?
Constraint to the origin.
Constraint to the origin.
Yay.
Okay? So just pick this line and the origin right there and make that 0. And then click this line here over to the origin and make that 0. That makes sense? Again, I think that will solve most of your problems as you go through and do this. Okay, so you should have this down. What we can do is I'm going to do that instead.
It's not about the age.
Well, sometimes I think that.
Okay, that makes sense?
It just might
We
be.
can do that with
I mean,
another.
I've been doing computers for
Yeah.
30
We're just
years.
doing the outside shape of this stuffing box. We aren't doing the inner hole yet. We're gonna create that with the drill as we go into this, how you build the part, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some dimensions on it. How wide is this right here? I think it's 16, isn't it? So let's add some dimensions from here up, make that 16. Okay? Now, what is my overall depth of it? So I'm going to have this one here at 62. Can you see why I'm trying to pick some points that won't throw my sketch all out of whack?
I can see why.
There's mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, 16. And then this distance here is 16 also, right? And this is what's left over right there, isn't it? Okay? So that's what we want so far, right? 316 measurements at 62, and we haven't given the height yet, have we? So 114 divided by 2, right here. See, now that's black right there, so I got this. I just have to get these heights here and the depth right here, right? And then my shape will be totally constrained, won't it? Okay, very good. Yeah, you catching the idea there?
First thing, first thing we want to mention is lock it in the yard. Okay. Okay, do that right there.
What is that? 11 million? Okay. Okay. So we're gonna do this, yeah.
Is there a constraint on how big you can make part of the cast?
No, it can be anything you want. I can put this down to here a little bit. Okay, let's see what we've got here now. Okay, well, that's not bad, that's pretty something. Oh, it is.
See, but that's why I was doing it.
Okay.
So I was like, you could hurt you.
Okay.
I was,
Can we start over? Okay.
Yeah, I gotta start over myself.
Okay,
Did you dimension that?
okay, so start a sketch.
Okay.
I want to actually make sure.
So now dimension this 60.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here, here, and we're in here, and you can come on here. I want it to be approximately 50.
114 divided by 2. Divide by 2. You got it down.
That's going to be right at the ballpark, isn't it? There,
No,
and then here, and then here, 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 here,
Yeah.
these, here, here, and here, right here, right? And there. Yeah. Here, here.
I'm like, okay,
And
everything.
here.
It's okay. We're all learning.
Now,
We're all learning.
Here, we know it's going to be 114 divided by 2. And this right here is going to be good, right?
Mhm. Yeah, we learn by mistakes. It's just that, like I said, I've been around computers long enough that a lot of stuff just makes sense. Yeah, kids,
Yeah.
remember the whole VCR blinking 1200?
You just make sure it was going to invert on you, that's all you did. Okay, so what is this diameter right here? This the front part. That's 65, right? So this is going to be 65 divided by 2, right? We'll pick right here and go 65 divided by 2. Okay, now, if this one did not move up with you, you could add you a 0 dimension between those two to lock that in if you wanted to. At that point. Okay? Okay, now, okay, this comes down how far?
Five minus 41 divided by 2.
Plus 54 divided by 2.
54 divided by 2, that is right. So from this bottom line up to here is 54 divided by 2. Okay? There we go. There's our base part right there. Everybody okay with that?
I had to do it a second time, but I got it.
Good. Okay, so let's hit finish sketch right here now. Let's revolve this around our axis right there and hit OK. So there's our blank shell to start working with to add all of our other features up there. Okay? So, first of all, do we have any fillets? We don't, do we? Okay. Now, on this right here now, on this space right here, we're going to drill a hole all the way through, and then we're going to drill another hole and go into a certain depth. Does that make sense to everybody? So let's start another sketch right here on this space right here, making sure front view shows up. It's going to read right up there. Okay? So let's put a point. Let's use points instead of a circle, okay? So we can take our drill bit anytime we want really easy. So click on point and pick a point somewhere out there. And then we're going to move that point into our origin right there with 2 0 measurements, right? So dimension now from there to there here and make that 0. Okay, so he's locked in there now. Finish your sketch. And go to the hole command right here. Now, first of all, I want to have this go all the way through, okay? And what diameter of hole do we have there? 30. So this number right here, we need to make 30. Okay? And make sure do all the sticks and hit OK. Okay, see how it goes all the way through? Okay. Now our second hole that goes in there has an angle of, is that 45 degrees at the end? And how far does it go in? 35. Now, do you see where that 35 is? It doesn't go to the... If you were to put a plug in there, that diameter, it would go in that distance. That's how you determine how deep it is. So this is the length, how far it goes in right there, isn't it? And that's how you figure, whenever you have a 2 in depth of sign, that's how you figure where the 2 in depth of. You don't figure to the tip of the drill bit. You figure if you were to put a stud in there or something, how far would that go in? Does that make sense to everybody?
Mike, what diameter did you use? Because I'm reading 41.
This one here?
Yes.
Now the 41 for our second one, we're going to do 2.
Okay.
That make sense?
Right. So you picked.
See, 30 is the back one, right? Now we're going to do the bigger one to go in.
Okay.
Okay? Are we okay on that? Yes. Okay. So you're understanding that. So you can see how big a bunch you can make now, can't you?
Yeah, I blinked on this, you're on the revolve.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, here we go. Speak the bottom line. Yeah, you got it.
But, how did you're doing stuff on the.
Right, so we have to start from here, so get okay. And now we start another sketch on the fix of that.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you go. Click there, you gotta hit it twice. And then we added the points right here. Now we're gonna do it there.
Take the plane, the program automatically knows.
Well, yeah, when we were talking about last time, about, just all of that, you know, I started, that was all.
I know.
So, I mean, here I was, designer, but now I kind of.
Now you have some fun tools to design with.
Oh, now I kind of adjust.
Okay.
Because I can remember when you had to change lots of, if you change the dimensions, you have to go back and change.
I know, it was a pain too, wasn't it?
And then if you did,
You forgot one, and then set up, pulled out all your archives and everything. Yeah. Okay, so let's come in here now and start another sketch now on this space here now. Okay, and let's go ahead and put another point in there. And again, constrain him up, he's 0. Okay, finish your sketch right now, so he's kind of out in space right there because there's no material there, is it? But we're going to counterbore him in. So let's add us a hole right here. Now, we want a hole, but I want it a distance now. I don't want it through all. Right now it's through all right here. See that? So let's get a distance right there. Okay, now you see I have an angle here for my tip, a degree, don't I? My length, what should the length here be then? Is it 55? 35? 35. Now, question for you, what is this diameter here?
Oh, 35 up there.
41. Now, what is my degree here going to be? Yeah.
Okay, so 35 to
90?
41.
So the degree would be 90, right?
Right.
Does everyone understand that? 35, that's my depth, right? And then the diameter is 41, and then 90, so hit OK. And guess what? That gives you that slope in there. Now, let's see if we did it right. Okay? I want everyone to make sure you did it right. Hit front on that and save your file off. Save as part 4. I'm just going to save mine in my desktop and hit save. Okay. Now, I want everyone to go to File, New, Drawing. Okay, so it's going to bring up a drawing sheet for you here. Hit Face right here. isn't it? Now, I'm gonna make mine 2-to-1. Just so you can see it, okay? I'm gonna pull it up here. Okay, now I'm gonna do a section view of this, okay? Oh, we got to put these holes out here, didn't we? Okay, we can go back and put those on. We just want to check this center hole, make sure this center hole material is right, okay? So go to section right here. With your red dotted line. Come down here. Do not pick this point. Just line your cursor up and have it come out. So the first time you pick it, it's going to be about right here. Click there. Come down here and click it about equal distance. Come over here, right click and continue. And there's your section. Look, you got it. Looks just like in the drawing, right? At the 45 angle drill bit right there. Does that make sense? So we did it the correct way. Now let's go back and put our holes on it.
Mike, how did you double it up in size?
Okay, hit undo here. Okay, go ahead and put base.
Base.
Okay, scale right there,
Ah.
2-to-1. And then hit OK. And then pick the red dot and move it up. Okay, that makes sense?
And then you did a line.
Then we did a section. Hit section right there.
Actually, I noticed that when you right click, it has a section
Yeah,
view.
so you can click it there. Now, bring your cursor, but don't pick that center point. Now pull it right out. Out further, about right there. Click there. Now come up here now. You accidentally picked that point. So just hit section here. Now, come down to the center here. I'll pick this red line here. Okay, now come down here. Now come up, but don't click it. You clicked it.
Okay.
You can't click it.
Okay.
So you have to undo and go back. You're just aligning yourself is all you're doing.
So
look, let me show you here.
Oh, and then you went to the side.
Right, so section, click there. Come down here. I'm not clicking it, am I?
Oh.
But I'm coming up and see it lets me register now to that point. And then click there. So that's your first click up there.
Okay.
Then you come down here about equal distance here, click here, come over here, right click, continue. So there's that side, there's that side. So you can flip your section. See your cutting plane line, how it rotates?
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let's put our counterboard holes in. So as we do a counterboard hole, we're going to kind of make up our counterboard. Because we want more than just a hole, okay? Or do you want a hole? We're about out of time, aren't we? Let's just do a hole. Come back to this part right here, our main part right there. Let's start a sketch now on this face right here.
This part?
Okay, now,
How do you open this up?
that's a, okay, 89, right? So I'm going to put a point right here. You mentioned from the center to this point, what should that measurement there be? 89 divided by 2, right? And then from here to my origin here, we want that to be 0, right? So finish your sketch. Go to the hole command. Now, what size hole does that need to be? 13, right? We want it through all, so I want this to be 13 right here. Hit OK. Okay? Now what we get to do is this. You have circular right there. Click on circular. click your hole that you just got finished doing. Rotation axis, now I'm gonna pick it from here now. It's like, there's my axis right there, isn't it? And how many do I want? 4. And then we go back to your part right there, and guess what? You've got it stock. Okay? That make sense? Now, I went over that last little part pretty fast, but I wanted to get finished today before this other class starts. So, if you guys want to come in early on, before class at all, feel free to come in, okay? And I can help you out, you know, with class before you can actually get going with some work and do that. So, but try over the weekend, you know, where you have a long weekend, you know, just play with it, you know. But I showed you a couple of different ways of doing the same thing with that project geometry, so don't be afraid to use it. If you want to reference to something that's embedded in it somewhere, just bring it up to your friends and use it, hook onto it. Or use it to trim it off, too, if you want something exactly lined up. Okay, so, what we're going to do, let's get things, well, we want to go ahead and maybe do it like the rack. Okay. That hole right there, right? So,
Yeah.
if your rotation now, you want to find, and this, you want to find the one that's right there, that one right there, isn't it?
Okay,
How many
I think I got it.
4. I think 4. Maybe so. Okay. Yeah, right. It is. Okay?
Yeah, you gotta.
So hopefully that helps you out a little bit.
If you give me your email address, I'm recording this, I can email you the recording. So, I'm recording and the audio. I mean, basically what Mike wants to start doing, I'm already doing.
No, it's like that's for dinner today.
Yeah, if you got a card, or I can give you, here, check this out.
I'm hearing great things.
Oh, you work for Salt Lake?
Yes, I am.
I just bought
Alan,
one.
you are a
Which one?
business
I
there,
bought the
and you
Forester,
are.
the,
For, what transmission? CVT?
well, it's like 2002, so it's.
Oh, you bought an old one, okay, good, so it's not a CVT, good.
So I had a 1996.
Is it turbo? Is it turbo?
I'm not.
Does it have a hood scoop on the hood?
No,
No, good.
no.
Normally aspirated, 2002, my car is 2002 Impreza, 2.5 liter engine,
Okay.
automatic transmission. The transmission might be a weak spot.
Next Wednesday, huh?
Head gaskets are a problem. Did the previous owner, what's the mileage?
They just did a rebuild engine, so it was 196, now it's 166.
Wow, it's up in the miles, but they rebuilt the engine, so the head gasket's been done, and the piston rings were done. So, okay, good. How much did you pay for it?
$500.
How's that?
For a rebuilt engine, Forester? Does it have rust or anything?
No, well, it does have a smash. The corner,
That's
corner
nothing.
panel.
That's nothing.
So,
You got a great deal.
and, well, what happened, the process is I had a 1996 Toyota 4Runner.
Yeah.
It was stolen twice,
It's okay
recovered
with you, you
twice.
know, just be aware
Well,
that
I
it
got violated.
driving crazy.
And they did
Okay,
graffiti on the
This is
vinyl.
all we can do.
So I decided I sold her after owning her 15 years. So I got $3,400.
My car is also 18 or 20 years, but mine's low mileage.
All data made.
So then I decided I
It's
needed
like
something,
you have, this
and
is
my previous landlord, he's a car guy. So he found a Subaru.
Okay.
And I actually, we can borrow those because I do the taxes.
That's the only
So
thing.
right now, it
You
says
said you did,
Idaho,
right?
so I just called
Okay. So,
ISU.
I think we work back and forth.
Oh, you haven't taken
No.
possession
Yeah,
of
well,
it yet?
and
No, I haven't, but I just called.
Okay, okay,
Auto
okay.
quite far.
welding class
Okay.
at ISU University. It's like 2 miles from my house. So tomorrow I'm headed to Idaho for basic.
Right, exactly.
And,
So don't worry
I'm
about that. The only thing I want everyone to do is to make sure they print and get it on here. I called and I've got a list of all of the standards and I'm gonna order the standards,
So like right here,
tomorrow.
here's the vehicle.
I personally probably wouldn't even care.
Well, it's
Yeah.
smashed back.
It's smashed back.
It's smashed back. So right here, and here's the gas
And so,
right
so
here.
that's all we can do.
Yeah, no, I understand.
So,
I understand.
but I thought,
Okay.
I'm just gonna get
Yeah,
a copy
that's all we
of
can
it
do.
right now.